Just thinking. All right, says we're live. All right, guys, this is Mike and Dane. Today we are going to do the automotive news live. For everyone who wants to see it, you could check out the recorded version of it later if you don't catch the live. But here we go. Today, Stellantis shareholders file lawsuit amid catering profits. This is not good, Dane. The shareholders are suing Stellantis because they're not making as much money as they think they should. Their income plummeted by 40% during the first half of 2024. Did you know about this, Dane?
Yeah, I knew things weren't good. There's a firm, I believe, I forget what state they're in, maybe I think maybe Nevada, that is reaching out to shareholders to say, hey, if you're upset about the losses you're taking on your stock shares, we are going to file for you. And people are jumping on board. And let's get a couple things before we go too deep into like what these people are pissed about. Just like, I think we should just kind of give a broad, like where Stellantis is at business wise. Does that make sense, or does that sound good to you?
Sure, yeah. What do you
Cool.
got?
I got a few notes. So from last year to this year, Stellantis's revenue, and this is just sales, is $85 billion with a B. Big chunk of money, right?
Right.
But their net profit from all of that is only $5.6 billion. So they are still profitable.
Right.
So at $5.6 billion, that's down 48% from where it was last year. That is what these people are upset about. So the shareholders only make money if the stock increases in value. Well, right now it's way down because of this. And this can be for a handful of reasons. One, sales are down. Two, their costs and expenses went up. You know, there's been warranties, recalls, that kind of stuff, material expenses. All these things are causing these issues. So when buyer confidence is low in the company, so the stock price falls. Well, these people didn't give money to Stellantis to give it away. They gave them money to make money.
It says sales are down 21%. So that is not good. What is going on here? The lawsuit alleges that Stellantis artificially inflated its stock price throughout much of 2024 by repeatedly making overwhelmingly positive assessments about inventories, pricing power, new products, and operating margin. So they're saying that Stellantis tried to make everything look good when it really wasn't.
Yeah. It's easy to say that now, but rewind to the beginning of 24, right? Yeah. Things were just starting to cool down then. And then at the beginning of 24, they announced they're releasing 20 new vehicles across all their brands. We're doing all these new things. We're expecting things to be okay. And they probably did. But then
during those reports, like companies always try to play up the positive things. And that's
they're trying to be optimistic.
What they always do, but the numbers are still they reported the numbers, right?
Yeah. Oh, of course. I mean, they still report the numbers. Honestly, they have to, by law. And, they're going to always have an optimistic outlook because nobody's going to have any confidence in the leadership if they say, well, we're working on some new things, but we think it sucks.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, the shareholders, they're saying this company that's suing Stellantis is saying shareholders who incurred a loss between February 15 and July 24th can submit a claim by October 15th and join the lawsuit. Dane, do you have any stock in Stellantis?
I ain't got no stock in Stellantis, so I'm safe.
No. All your stocks in GM?
Yeah, all my stock's in me.
Okay.
I'm betting on myself.
I'm surprised you don't own stock in GM, Dane. What's up with that?
Yeah, I don't own stock in anybody. I never got into the buying external investment stuff like that.
Well, if you have a 401k, then you own stock in something. You just
whatever
don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Some sort of mix, some sort of high yield or high risk, whatever. And I look at it once a year and let it do its thing.
All right.
Yes, I don't know what it's in. Maybe I do. I just don't even know it.
So yeah. So the article saying shareholders frequently sue publicly traded companies in the United States after unexpected stock price declines. So there's no guarantee that this lawsuit will be successful. But it looks like Stellantis is struggling. They're saying
Yeah.
at least 5 executives have left the brand. I know we talked about Tim Kuniskis leaving and some
Yeah.
other people leaving.
Mm-hmm.
So the CEO, Tavares, he said that some of the brands could get axed if they don't start making money. So
Yeah. Well,
somebody's going to get the axe.
that's the thing. They're making money. They're just not making as much as the shareholders want them to make. And this happens every time there's a downturn in the economy. People freak out and then they sell stocks or they sell whatever. Like, oh, the market's crashing. I want to sell now. Well, yeah, you're on the way down, and it's not going to stay down forever. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
it will, but
Well, I don't know. I got some other articles to show you, Dane. I don't know if you're
maybe.
going to feel so great after the end
Maybe.
of this
Well,
live.
historically, the stock market doesn't always stay down. Sometimes companies do, and this is a company, obviously. But
All
I'd
right. Well,
say over time they bounce back. But in
we'll
the
see.
words of the great Dave Ramsey, only people that get hurt on roller coasters are the ones that jump off. If you're going to jump off when it's low, you're going to take a loss. If you don't jump off when it's low, you have a chance of getting it back. So,
Well, yeah, we'll see. Let's see
Mhm.
what the comments have to say.
Mhm.
This guy says, "Wait, so $100,000 Jeeps, Rams, and a pathetic Alfa Fiat lineup wasn't a good idea? Huh? Who would have guessed?"
Yeah.
A lot of people in the comments seem to they're saying that and I agree that a lot of these vehicles are overpriced
Yeah.
and that is not good.
Yeah.
This guy says they think they're struggling now. Just wait until they try to unload one of those $70,000 Daytona EVs on the public.
Yeah, it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah. This guy says this dude is horrible. Carlos Tavares sounds like a lord of a cartel. Oh boy. All right, so
That's
they don't
very
like this guy.
Yeah, whatever. Carl's probably ain't that bad.
We'll see. Looks like the next article from Car Scoops.
Mhm.
Stellantis boss rushes to the U.S. to address the 70% income plunge and overhaul plans. So he is running to the U.S. He's going to fix this, Dane. You think he can fix it?
Well, not single-handedly, and
Well,
I don't know.
he's the head guy in charge.
Well, this is true. So he's going to fly to Detroit. I think he's already there as of today. And what's today? August 22nd.
Yep.
And
Thursday.
he's going to give his, rally speech to his, direct reports basically, and have them spread that message and maybe do a company-wide message of rally around the flag. Let's, fix what we got to fix. Let's, kick butt and get going. And who knows how that's going to take, right? Maybe the people closest to him will light a fire under them a little bit, but the further away it gets from the guy on top, the less people start to care inside of those companies.
Yeah. It looks like, according to the article,
Mm-hmm.
according to inside sources who spoke to Rutgers, the group's boss is on a mission to craft a turnaround strategy while also working to restore confidence among employees and investors. So yeah, I guess the confidence part is the little rallying speech, but he's got to come up with a strategy, Dane. Stellantis announced it will cut 2,400 jobs at the Warren Truck Assembly plant.
You know what? I'd feel real confident about that if I was an employee. That's
Confident.
That's working real good towards that building employee confidence plan by cutting more jobs.
Yeah, they're going to be real confident. You know what? I got to be honest. If I was working at Stellantis right now,
Yeah,
I would be getting my resume ready, and I was probably start applying to other places. This is not looking good. They are firing people all over the place. They've been laying people off. Same difference.
yeah. So
They've been doing it for a while too.
Oh yeah. So I pulled a few other numbers. So from last year to this year, they've adjusted their operating income. That's employee headcount, that kind of stuff, from 8.5 billion to 5.7 billion. So those aren't all layoffs. Some of it's like travel expenses and whatnots, but a big chunk of that is people they've let go. That's almost $2 billion in just salaries.
Oh,
Right. So
Yeah.
they've been slowly just kind of trickling people out the door and trying to, cover expenses and whatnot to keep profits up for the shareholders. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's just they're doing what they can on small steps. They're going to have to take bigger swings now to kind of save face with the shareholders. Excuse me, shareholders.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So throughout his trip, Tavares will meet with top line managers and dealers and visit a factory in Detroit. He's expected to formulate a strategy by the end of the week. Oh, that's like one day. So you may look to reduce inventories and adjust vehicle production. Yeah. So, oh my God, this is a mess, Dane. The guy Tavares blamed himself for not acting quickly enough to address the issues within the brand's North American operations while speaking at its investor day in Michigan earlier this year. We were arrogant, he said, and I'm talking about myself, nobody else. Okay.
Well,
Well, I don't
good on
know.
him for taking some credit.
Yeah, I guess he's taking some credit for this disaster.
Yep.
Let's see what the comments have to say.
Mm-hmm.
I love it when people talk in the comments.
Yep. This is where all the truth comes out.
This is where the truth comes out.
Mm-hmm.
This guy says he cut 2,500 union jobs to pay for his 56% salary increase. He got a salary increase of that much?
Maybe.
I don't know if that's true, but
Mm-hmm.
This guy says, let's see, the Stellantis thing is the real problem. Get rid of Tavares first, maybe. Yeah, they may be getting rid of him. That's maybe why the investors are suing him. And then they're going to use that as maybe that's the beginning of the end.
Yep.
This guy says, so you're going to call in the guy who broke it to come fix it. Genius. Just make sure he gets many, many millions, please, because we know these executives are superhuman and worth exponentially more than thousands of mere mortal employees. All right, I halfway agree with this guy.
You almost had me.
I mean, I know it's weird to see one person making more than a whole bunch of other people, but when that person is in charge of everything, I mean, the buck stops with him. And if he were doing such a great job, I think that a lot of these people wouldn't have gotten laid off. Their sales wouldn't have been down. I mean, I think if you're an employee, you got to root for a really good CEO, and you got to pay him. You got to pay him the market rate. But on the other hand of what he said, I do agree. Like, I don't see how this guy is going to fix what he broke. Like, it's kind of hard. Like, it's almost like if you got a car and your mechanic fixes it and he does a terrible, terrible job. I mean, maybe it's time to go to somebody else. Like, maybe that guy can't fix it.
Yeah, right. Maybe
He
he can,
broke it.
and maybe he can. I mean, we've all made mistakes,
It's
but
a lot of
unfortunately,
mistakes.
right. Well, right. Unfortunately, some people it costs them a lot more money than what it's worth to fix their mistakes.
So, Dane, what do you think the mistakes are that he has made? I'm looking at the several mistakes. Number one, they're charging way too much money for these vehicles. People just aren't willing to pay it. Number two, I don't think he understands kind of the American customer or the American, like, I think when they got rid of that Hemi, like, you taking the heart out of Dodge right there. I mean, you just stabbing yourself right in the face with that. Like, you can't get rid of the Hemi. You got to find a way to keep the Hemi going. Ford still has a V8. The way that they keep it going is they sell a good amount of smaller EVs in order to like offset all of the regulations.
Yeah.
So, and Dodge hasn't been able to do that, or Stellantis hasn't been able to do that. Like, you got to keep the Hemi, and you make a whole bunch of those little tiny ProMasters, the ProMaster City, I think it's called.
Yep.
Why isn't that an EV?
Right.
Dane, I want answers.
Yeah, make more sense.
I heard they got a ProMaster EV they just starting to come out with. So
Are they?
like that could offset some things. But yeah, man, they had a customer base that was so excited to buy those cars. And
Well,
now I don't think people are excited anymore. What do you
people
think?
were excited, and they
Yeah,
were
were.
paying. People were paying that money, and then you went and changed it. You had something that worked, and you ruined it. And here, and like, and we're talking specifically about Dodge right now and Ram, and that spoke to the enthusiast. Even if people weren't buying those specific vehicles with the Hellcat and the Hemis, they were still excited about the brand and would buy other cars.
Yeah.
Now, these joint venture companies, maybe this guy too, typically aren't in the business because they love the cars and they're huge automotive enthusiasts. I could be wrong, but a lot of times that's not the case. They're in this business right now and they own all these, they've bought all these companies and brands to make more money. And that is the role that they're in. So things start getting diluted. They start catering to different policies that may or may not be happening. They start, catering to social movements that may or may not be profitable. And so that stuff starts running you down a hole when you start chasing these things versus sticking with your roots and going off what these companies were built on. These companies were built by blue collar people for blue collar people,
Yeah.
and they're made for blue collar people, man. People want horsepower. They want something that's exciting. Even if they're not buying the exciting car, they want to be associated with that thing. And they're not making enough cool stuff that people are excited about right now.
Well, yeah, like I agree with you. But the thing is, like him not being a car guy
Mm-hmm.
is kind of okay as long as you put car guys who understand their customer in charge of their divisions. And you have to listen to their input. Like Tim Kaniskas,
Yep.
like I feel like he really gets his customers. He knows
Yeah.
what they want. He gives them
100%.
what they want, and it was a great situation. I'm sure he was begging them to keep the Hemi, and they
Mhm.
said we're not going to pay the emission offset credits anymore. And that's where I think he messed up. He didn't listen to his car guy. I mean, he's got to run the business part, but you don't have the business without the car guys in charge of at least some of it. You got to listen to their input.
Yeah, exactly. Even if it's just narrowing it down to like these vehicles aren't going to get it anymore, but this one still will. Keep it alive. Keep the hope alive for people. Don't just kill it. And that ain't helping right now, especially with like the Ram and the Dodge.
All right, I'm gonna try to see if anybody in the chat wants to say something.
Sounds good. But hey, they do have something decent that is coming around. So they do own Lancia. Are you familiar with Lancia?
No, what's that?
So Lancia is an Italian auto manufacturer, and they're probably most noted or known for some of the Group B rally cars back in like the 80s, 90s, where they
Right.
built, really, really awesome sports cars. So they were competing against Audi famously with a rear-wheel drive car while Audi was running an all-wheel drive car. And there was some trickery going on that, Lancia was doing to stay on top and win on the points part of the things. But either way, they were building really, really awesome sports cars, and they got away from that, and their sales tanked. So now they're releasing a new car for the first time in I think over a decade. It's not the most exciting thing, but it's a start. It's a little hot hatch, makes like 150 horsepower. I think it's a 3-door.
Okay.
So, yeah. And I believe there's going to be also EV versions that are available too. So while it's only going to be available in Europe, those cars are really, really popular in Europe. So that's a good way to start turning things around a little bit for the company. So potentially they're going the right way. They're going to be coming out with a refreshed Ram, but it's just another Ram.
Yeah.
People don't get that excited over a new trim package unless it's something crazy like the TRX. They'll still keep selling those things, but your regular half-ton pickup, whatever, we need something more exciting.
Oh, yeah. So they're not selling the right cars. They are not listening to their car guys. Let's look at some other problems. According to the Detroit News, now this was published in March, but I remember reading it Stellantis cutting white-collar engineering and tech employees.
Mm-hmm.
The automaker says the layoffs totaling 400 white-collar employees will affect about 2% of workers in the engineering, tech, and software groups in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
They've cut jobs several times over the past year in both its salaried and hourly workforces, even as it posted record net profits worldwide of $20 billion last year. But unlike other automakers, it's in the midst of a costly transition to electric vehicles, with its first fully electric offerings launching in the United States this spring.
Mm-hmm.
They are firing a lot of engineers. This is not looking good. And you know what? I think some people are saying that they are hiring a lot of people in other countries, like, for example, Mexico,
Yep.
because they're able to pay them a lot less. And that is not a good thing. I heard there was another YouTuber named Butter the Insider,
Mm-hmm.
and I think he has like some connects or something in the Detroit area. He's always posting about like uh, they build a lot of cars and then they test them, and then they fail the test, so they have to put them outside and wait for them to figure out what's wrong. A lot of that could be because they let go of a lot of the engineers that knew what they were doing.
Yeah, when you let those guys go that got 20 some years of experience, you're losing 20 some years worth of knowledge and experience. And it hurts the company. It's hard to recover from that stuff. Other people got to step up and now relearn, redo, and things just come to a grinding halt. So it got like Carlos is in a tough spot, right? The company's still making money. They've made some bad investment choices. They've got a lot of engineering and development expenses that are killing their profit margins. And while the company's still making money and the company's still, all these companies are still going to be okay, the shareholders are what the problem is, right? Because they only signed up. All these guys don't have anything invested other than their dollar, and they are pissed because their dollar is not worth as much as what it was when they gave it to them.
Oh yeah.
And so they have a chance to turn this around, but you have to give them a chance to turn it around too. These investors just are not impatient. They want to see profits every single quarter. Boom, boom, boom. Want to see how much money they're gaining.
Dane, I'm impatient too, but this is not just about they're not making as much like this. They're losing. The stock is losing value like a lot.
Yeah, so stock is
people
losing value.
Literally have lost money on them, and
Only,
if it just stayed the same, then it wouldn't be that bad. But like they're losing money.
They don't want to stay the same either, though. They always need to be going up. So the stock price is going down, but you don't lose money until you sell.
Yeah, about to go down even worse. Let's look.
But right, and so that's the game, but that's also the what you signed up for.
Yeah, but they don't want to go on that ride.
Well, they shouldn't have put the money down
bought the ticket. They about to get off.
Yeah, they should put the money on. They can get off and take their loss, but if they don't get off and they rally behind and they give Carlos the support he needs, or put someone else in that chair, that's going to turn things around. They can get their money back plus.
All right, we'll see. I guess you're right. Let's wait till he has. Let's see what his plan is first. He's going to put together a super plan. Hopefully, it'll be super this Friday. So maybe we'll wait to see the plan and see then we'll think about it. Yeah. Let's look at how they laid off all the engineers. And this is a Reddit post, so I don't know if this is 100% true, but
everything's true on Reddit.
Everything's true on Reddit.
Yep.
So this guy says, let's see, Stellantis mass layoff of engineers fired after being asked to work from home on Friday. So this is what they said. They said they had begun to trickle into the office a couple weeks ago. Then around 8 p.m. on Thursday, about 400 workers at Stellantis got an email telling them not to come into the office on Friday. They said it was a mandatory remote work day. I bet they knew. I bet they had to know. They're like, oh, this is over. Let me clean out my desk now.
Yeah.
So
anyone that, jeez, yeah. So anyone that has been listening for a little while to you and I knows that we've talked about this before, right? Like there's that magic number in Michigan for all those Stellantis employees, or just for in general. These major companies want to make layoffs as long as it's under that 400 number or right at it.
Right.
They don't have to announce it publicly, so they can keep just 400, 400, 400 at a time every couple of months. So that's exactly what this is. Again, they're just grabbing the next 400. Hey, leave your stuff at your desk. Don't come in tomorrow.
Work from home.
Yeah,
Oh,
why don't you
man.
just work from home? No one will call you in the morning and tell you that you have the whole day off. Here's your severance.
You have your whole life off.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, just don't go back. Oh, man. I'm not making fun of them because this same thing happened to me, but like this was at Cummins, and it was this was before they had like everybody doing Zoom calls and stuff. It was like before the pandemic where that was normal.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a big Zoom infrastructure set up back then. But yeah, it was like it would usually be on a Sunday, and I was like trying to avoid because I think they was probably going to lay me off the week before, but I just didn't come to work that Friday because I called out, so I couldn't get laid off, and then I kept avoiding like going into the office. We had like a remote area where we would test things, so I just stayed over there. And then I came in Friday like to get something, and then as soon as I got to my desk, they were like, "Mike, come with me to the office." I was like, "God, they got me."
Yeah,
I was trying to avoid the guillotine, but they grabbed me at the last second. But yeah, it's not a fun day. But I don't know, Dana, if you had to be let go, would you rather it be on a Zoom call or in person? What do you think? I mean, either way, it sucks, but
yeah, it sucks. At least if it's in person, you can at least tell a guy he sucks if you don't like him.
yeah.
If it's on a Zoom call, it's like, oh, dang it. Or if it's an email, sometimes it's just an email. Like,
Yeah.
hey, you're no longer employed here. Send your stuff back. Yeah, it's there's no good way to do it. I've not had to go through it, fortunately, but my wife had recently had to go through it. She works for a Fortune 500 company, not in the automotive industry, and they had a new VP of or director of whatever over her position, and so there was some restructuring, right? And in this restructuring, they decided that a couple of these jobs were no longer just necessary. The guy didn't know who any of these people are. He just said these positions just aren't necessary. So my wife, being the overachiever that she is, was pissed because she's like, all these dirtbags that are lazy, I got to keep their jobs. He doesn't even know who I am.
Yeah,
well,
it just don't never take it. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I said, fortunately for her though, since she was so good, there was people in other groups being like, "Work for me." She was able to get a job internally somewhere else, like the next week. But
okay.
But again, it still sucks because these things happen. Because you might not ever see it coming. It might not be like, oh, I've been a dirtbag and I know I've screwed all this stuff up and I made these big mistakes. It could just be you're kicking ass at your job and they just all of a sudden decide we don't need you. We don't need that position.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody ever gets laid off, I feel like it's natural to take it personally. Like, like I know I felt bad about it, but it wasn't a personal thing. Like sometimes like just that whole group that you're in, they feel like we're not going to go forward with this project and everybody just gets wiped out. It's like a Thanos, like what was in the Marvel movie where he just swoosh and everybody's going. Like that's how it is sometimes. So it's not necessarily your fault. I got a friend who works at Cummins and he said they did layoffs recently and he was like, man, some really good engineers, they laid them off. Like, it doesn't matter if you're really, really good. Like if that area gets shut down, you're gone, man.
Yeah, sometimes it sucks. It hurts to be too good at your job, as bad as that might sound, or as dumb as that might sound. Right? There's some guys that are so good at their job and they end up staying there as long as they do, and they make a ton of money. But because they make a bunch of money and they're really valuable, they dump them and they just replace them with two other people for half the price.
Oh yeah, like if you're there for a while and you're making a lot of money, like sometimes that's what puts the target on you because like this guy's making a lot of money. We'll hire somebody out of school.
Yeah, even though you're a success and you're doing everything right, it's a dumb business decision. I don't know why these guys at the top don't see that as value. But that's where these guys like Carlos screw up big time, I think, because that just kills the morale inside, right? You see guys that are awesome at their job get let go, and you're like, shit, could be me. Well, I'm not going to work any harder than the next guy. That way, maybe I don't, get the boot too. So it just brings the morale down to just a low mediocrity level.
Yeah, and like when you do this, I think a lot of guys at that company are seeing the writing on the wall. They're seeing the ship start to sink, like the Titanic. And they're like, "Let me get off of this ship now, while I can control at least when I leave, instead of just getting drowned in the ocean."
Right. And well, we've all looked for jobs while we're working. When you're looking for another job, are you doing the best job you can at your current job?
Yeah, you're still doing a good job.
But a good job? Or are you starting to get lazy?
No, I still try to do a good job.
Okay. You're a little more honest than I am, or you just not want. No, you start cutting back a little bit. You start getting a little lazy, kicking your feet up more. A little extra 15-minute break here or whatnot, right? I'm already on the way out. Screw it.
No, I don't do that. I might just not come into work on Friday because I think you're going to get me.
Oh, there's that.
I work from home for real.
Yeah, and then nothing gets done.
All right, so let's see. This is another post on Reddit. This is saying, this person is saying, Stellantis firing U.S. workers and hiring in Mexico. I'm a Mexican engineer, and I just received an offer letter to be a design engineer for Stellantis for around $15,000 a year. Living in Mexico, oh my gosh, you could make more than that at Chick-fil-A in the U.S., bro.
That sounds like it still sucks even for Mexico wages.
Is that a lot of money in Mexico? Like,
no, I don't think so.
What's the exchange rate in Mexico?
It doesn't matter because I mean, sure, like $1 or is like 700 pesos or something stupid, but it doesn't. It still takes. If something costs $1 here, it still takes 700 pesos there to buy the thing. You know what I mean? So it's just. It doesn't mean everything's worth a lot less. Housing might be worth less. Cost of living might be lower, but the value of the money is still similar.
Dane, I think I need to do some automotive nerd research.
Okay.
And find out what is going on. Does anybody in the comments know, is $15,000 a lot of money in Mexico? Like when you convert it to pesos?
I don't think so.
Oh no, let's find out.
That sounds low, real low. Like, because where these places are at in Mexico, they're not like middle of frickin' nowhere. They're still in cities. It's not cheap to live there. Like where are they at? Are they like in Juarez or like Matamoros? Do you know where they're at exactly? Those are like big.
Yeah, I could look it up in a second. Because in the next article, according to Google, $1 equals 19.49 Mexican pesos. So that's, goodness gracious, that's almost 20%. 20 pesos to $1.
Yeah.
All right, let me see. What is the average? So let's see. 15,000 times 20. Where is my calculator? Times 20. That's 300,000 pesos a year.
Yeah, but it's still not a lot of money.
All right, so what's the average? What's the average pay in Mexico?
There you go. Well,
all right. So the average salary in Mexico is around 350,000 pesos a year.
So
they're just getting the average.
That hits just below the average, and but this isn't an average paying job. Being a design engineer isn't average salary. You're going to be above average.
It should be above it. You guys in Mexico, whoever wrote this, you need to ask for a raise. That's not enough money, even for Mexico.
Well, I wonder if he's putting this up is kind of like, this is what they offered me. This is a joke.
Oh. Yeah. But let's see what he says. Well, he says, I'm a Mexican engineer, just received an offer letter to be a design engineer. Do you think that the future in the industry will just be hiring people in poorest countries so they can pay less to workers? Yeah, that's the present in the industry. Now, here in Mexico, everyone wants to work for a company like Stellantis so that one day you could move to the US and access to a US salary. But now it seems harder now that Stellantis fired American engineers. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's going to be hard. So, Dane, I did some more automotive nerd research and I
Yeah.
went to Stellantis website to see uh, who was where are they hiring at, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let's see. So let's see. Can you see the thing? Here we go.
Yep.
So it's 129 results, and I went through it. Let me give you the nerd research. Dee. So there were 14 there were 14 jobs in the US out of this 120, and two of them were for like temporary technician jobs, like basically what we used to do at Cummins. But so those weren't even engineering jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Two of them were jobs operating a boiler. I don't know why that came up, isn't it? I'd put in the keyword engineer, but I
Yeah.
guess that didn't come out perfect. But yeah, so about less than 10 engineering jobs. 4 jobs were remote. 30 were jobs in Mexico, and the rest were France, Morocco, and a couple other places. So it looks like there's, well, I don't know exactly if those jobs would have already been in Mexico even before this, but either way, most of the jobs are outside of the US right now.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, like, I don't blame the guy in Mexico for trying to get that job. He's just a guy like us, you're trying to work.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if that dream of working there a little while in Mexico and then transferring over to the US, I don't know how realistic that is.
Yeah, it's not impossible. I mean, and guys do it, and there's a lot of good engineers that come out of Mexico.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there are some good guys down there, but
Mm-hmm.
what I would do if I were him is, first of all, hopefully you can get an increase on that offer of, because they're just offering you average salary for Mexico. Like, you should be getting above average salary if you're an engineer. I mean, you should be
Yeah.
getting double the. You should be getting, what are they giving them, 15,000? They should be getting like 25 or 30, but
I would say so. Let's say this guy's new to the industry and he just graduated college. If he's got a bachelor's degree, he should be starting in a position like that somewhere around $65,000-$70,000 here in the U.S.
yeah, I mean, that's above average wages for the US
Right.
though.
Right. Well, right. It already is. That's fresh out of school. So let's just say this guy's got, 5 to 10 years of experience. 80, 90 a year is where he's going to be at if he's in the US. So, man, that number seems incredibly low. So, all of you engineers in Mexico, you need to stand up and be like, hey, we ain't putting up with this nonsense.
I know.
We are
Like,
valuable.
maybe
Yeah.
they're selling all those guys, or maybe that's just the dream for all of them, that if you pay your dues, we'll send you over to the US. But man, that might just be like a carrot and stick thing where they're like, we're going to hire you next year. Like, if I were him, I would take the job still, but I would look into getting some experience, getting really good, and then getting a job at a different company in the US rather than just trying to transfer from Stellantis to the
It's hard to
US.
get sponsored. It's really hard to get sponsored to get a work visa. But keep working at it. If that's your dream, keep going. Here's
You can do
where
that. This guy in my group at Cummins, he was a work visa guy, and they hired him over somebody in the US, even though that person was more qualified. Because even when you come over as a work visa, they still underpay you compared to the other engineers.
But still better than.
But it's still it's going to be way better, higher pay than living in Mexico.
Yeah. So here's a scenario for this guy too. If you take that job, let's say for $15,000 in Mexico, and then however many years you're able to transfer into the U.S. and stay with Stellantis, they'll probably give you a salary increase for living wages, but not probably as much as what you could have gotten if you started in the United States. Since you're already making a lower wage, they're not going to bring you up to where everyone else is. They're just going to bring you up a little bit more. It's better to start at the higher wage and then transfer from there. And then you keep transferring up at a higher percentage that way.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I am not very optimistic about what is going to happen at Stellantis. I don't think they're going to be able to turn it around. I think they're going to need a new CEO, honestly, to just give a whole new perspective. I mean, asking the guy who messed up everything to fix everything. I mean, that's kind of like voting for Kamala Harris. Hey guys, I want to fix the economy, even though I just broke the economy.
Yeah. Even though I can do it right now, I'm going to wait until
I got the secret. I got the secret for fixing the economy, but I can't do it right now, even though I have a lot of power to do it right now.
Yeah.
That's like OJ when he said, "I'm going to find the real killer." You guys, I got the secret info. I want to find out who did this.
Yeah,
like it was you. That's who did it.
Yeah.
Oh,
what a
man.
mess.
All right. Well, this is depressing. We had one more article, but it's even more depressing. Somebody lost their life at a Stellantis plant in Ohio, Toledo, Ohio. But this, I'm already depressed.
Yeah.
I'm already depressed enough about Stellantis. You guys in the comments, what do you think about this? Do you think that Stellantis could get it together, or do you think it is over?
I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for him, MJ. I want him to get together.
I'm rooting for him because I know people that work there, and I don't want them to get fired if they haven't been fired already. But
same, there's that.
It's not looking good, man.
No, but they still have the chance to pull out some enthusiast vehicles that people are excited about. Go back to your roots. Remember why people fell in love with these brands, and make them great.
I don't know. It's just the problem is it takes so long to come out with new models and develop new powertrains. Like they got to go with what they have now, and nobody wants it.
Yeah,
people don't want it at those prices.
Take backs, take it back.
All right, so let's see. L Cool J says, "Can you recap why they are in financial trouble?" Sure, we can do that. I was just about to go to another article, but let's go back to the first one. Well, I mean, they got a 40% income plunge. Their operating income plummeted 40% in the first half of the year. They've been cutting jobs for a while now, and they just said they're going to cut 2,400 more jobs in their Warren, Michigan truck assembly plant. People are blaming, they're saying they have a lot of inventory. Their vehicles aren't selling. They aren't selling at the high prices. People are blaming the fact that they raised the prices. Dane and I personally are saying we don't like the fact that they stopped making the Hemi. They lost a lot of their excitement. A lot of their executives have left the company, including Tim Kuniskis, the father of the Hellcat engine. They're gonna make an EV Charger and Challenger. I don't know what they're doing with Chrysler. The Chrysler 300 I thought was a good car. I don't know what's happening with that. Everything is just falling apart at the seams, L Cool J, and we don't know what they're going to do about this.
Yeah, customers are losing interest in the company in general. They have made a lot of bad investments that have cost them a lot of money. That's another reason their numbers are down. They're operating on about a 6%, profit margin, which is not very good. Even though they're still have a lot of money in sales, their revenue is just not great right now. Revenue is down almost 50% from where it was last year. I mean, it doesn't mean they're negative. They're just not making as much money. And so the shareholders are just not happy at all.
Yeah. Also some of their shareholders are suing the company.
Oh yeah.
Because of because they feel like they were misled.
Yeah, they're
during
calling
their
for falsification of
here we go.
planning or whatnot. But they're always going to give an optimistic view. That's kind of the recap, right? The company's never going
Yeah.
to come out and say we're making all these new products and they suck. They're going to come out and say we have a lot of faith in these new products and we are expecting X. And when X doesn't happen, then they got to try and figure out how to pivot and recover. And of course, that's
So
just part of the backlash.
yeah, so there it says this other article, sales fell 21%, and they're going to roll out a $2,000 incentive to stop the bleeding. $2,000 is not
No.
even that much money anymore, to be honest. Oh man. He says, dang, that's a lot of bad things to happen at once. Yeah. I agree, my friend. It's not
Yeah.
looking good. So I don't know. And you know what? I think Ford is pouncing on this opportunity where they got rid of the Hemi engine. Ford is talking about making a four-door V8 Mustang type vehicle. And
Mm-hmm.
they just showed it to some of the dealerships in Michigan, and everybody is excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
We did a video on it, and we're hoping that they call it the Ford Falcon, but people are saying they might call it the Ford Mach 4 because it's got four doors. I mean, no matter what they call it, I think a four-door Mustang engine, rear-wheel drive V8 is exactly what a lot of people are looking for. And if they price it right,
Mm-hmm.
it could take a lot of the customers away from Dodge in general.
Yeah, sports sedans are cool. Think of something that competes with like an M5 or an M8 or like a Audi, S6 or S7 or something like that caliber, or like a Mercedes, AMG, one of those, four-door sports sedans.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. You think GM might make a four-door version of like the Camaro with a
Well,
V8 in it?
they got the Cadillac Blackwing.
Yeah, I mean
That thing,
that car
thing's
is like has great specs, but I
it's an
don't know.
animal.
Like it doesn't look that cool, to be honest. It looks
It's,
okay.
I don't hate it. That car is an absolute monster.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
I don't feel like a lot of people are excited about it.
yeah. They don't sell big numbers, but they build excitement in a company. They're like, "What? You're telling me there's a Cadillac that makes
How much
700
they
horsepower?"
cost? How much they
Uh,
cost?
a lot. I'm sure it's over 100.
Yeah, that's most people can't afford that,
Yeah.
man.
Oh, and they have that not the like the Escalade. There's that Escalade too, the Escalade V. It's got that same engine in it that makes like 700 some horsepower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I think they got to get something around 40,000 to start. Like they got to design a new body though. Like that Camaro,
Mm-hmm.
I'm I'm sick of that looking at that thing. They need to make a next generation Camaro with four-door
Camaro's
version.
gone. The Camaro's
Yeah.
done.
Well, I mean, with the four-door version of it
Eh,
in the future.
maybe they tried that with the SS. You remember that car?
Yeah.
Kind of looked like the Malibu, but it had the LS3 in it. It's kind of a big sports sedan. Those didn't sell well. They're pretty cool cars, but they didn't sell well. It kind of fell along that line. They had the Pontiac G8. That car is still really popular, but they quit making that when they killed Pontiac. So
Yeah.
maybe they could
Pontiac
bring
stuff.
something back, but it never did really well for them.
I don't know. I don't know, Dane. I'm depressed about this information. I need to look up uh let's look up a different story so that we don't
Okay.
end the live stream on a sad note.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see what else is happening in the world here.
Oh God, I don't know. I've been so tied up with
Stellantis depressing
Stellantis
everybody.
landslide. Yeah.
All right,
Look at
Acura
that.
Z,
New Grand Tour episodes. I like the way that sounds.
the Grand Tour teases. What is the Grand Tour? I don't even know
What? Are
what
you
that
kidding
is.
me? All
I
right.
don't know what that is.
Just click on it. So you know what Top Gear is, right?
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Okay.
I've seen it.
So I forget how many years ago it was, 8, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago. Jeremy Clarkson, scroll back up, the guy in the middle, the tall guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something happened. He got in an argument with one of the executives and he punched him. So,
Oh, yeah.
so Top Gear gets shut down, right?
Yeah.
And so, anyways, these guys get with I think Amazon TV, and they created the same show, but now it's called the Grand Tour.
Oh,
and the production value has gone up. The cars that they use have gone up. The stunts have gone up. This show, if you guys have not watched it and you like cars, is absolutely fantastic. My
oh.
wife, who cares nothing about cars, loves watching it just because it's that entertaining.
This is
So
on
this is
Amazon?
exciting. Oh yeah, it's on Amazon. So if you got a Prime membership, you get this for free.
Oh, I don't even have that.
Oh, we'll get it.
All right, so it's been airing for 8. Well, now they're not making the show anymore, so. But it's been airing for 8 years, but the team is more famous for putting Top Gear on the map. The show turned into a global phenomenon. Where that must be up. Before Clarkson's infamous fracas put an end to things. So is that when he punched a guy?
Yeah.
Oh my God. However, in an ironic twist, the Grand Tour would end up outliving Top Gear. Oh,
Yeah, way bigger. It's so good.
they've been doing this for 22 years.
Yeah, they've been working together for 22 years, and
Oh,
they were
working together.
really
That
good.
includes the time at Top
That
Gear.
includes Top Gear. So when it was
Oh.
Top Gear, which was on BBC,
Yeah.
it wasn't the number one. It was the number one car show in all of Great Britain. It was also the number one show, period, in all of Great Britain. So those
Wow.
guys have been creating gold for years. So, anyways, seeing that new Top Gear episode's coming out in September sounds awesome.
All right. So no more the Grand Tour. This guy in the comments says sad day. Okay. So I didn't even know about the show at all. This guy says, I hope they do a podcast or something along those lines. The show isn't ending because of their ability to be entertaining. It's ending for numerous other reasons.
Did I read that wrong? I thought I said new episodes coming in September. The last episode's September.
Last episode is over.
Oh, that is bad news. Dang it.
Yeah.
I was hoping on a happy note.
Well, I guess it's not happy. You wanted to click on the article.
I screwed that all up. I thought there was new episodes coming. Crap.
So
This is bad news, people. This is bad news.
This guy, the comment continues, their natural, unintentional chemistry has always remained, and always has been the constant and key ingredient to their success. This isn't ending, so I hope the three of them find another avenue to get together. Oh, so that isn't ending. So their chemistry isn't ending. All right, so maybe they'll do something else. I don't know. Maybe we can have them as a guest on our very popular podcast.
One more episode at least, which is great.
All right. Well, the Grand Tour is over, Dane, and now Dane's depressed.
Yeah, well, maybe. And if this is your first time hearing about Top Gear, the good news for you is you get to go back and watch 22 years worth of TV.
Oh yeah,
because it's all good stuff. You'll love the stunts that they do and the challenges, and it's just fantastic.
So what about the Cybertruck? They looks like they're delivering muddy Cybertrucks to furious new owners.
Yeah,
they deliver it dirty. I mean, you could wash it off. I mean, what are you gonna do?
I'm sure it was getting tested, right, or test driven or whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, they put it on those car carriers, and I guess sometimes dirt happens from the highway. I mean,
who knows?
Right. Just clean the freaking thing. Stop being so baby.
Yeah.
Stop being a baby.
Yeah, quit crying.
You know, I've been seeing a lot of these cyber trucks on the road. Like, I've seen like 5 in the last week.
I've seen a couple now too.
Yeah, people are buying them.
Ooh,
they are interesting looking.
You know what I saw the other day?
What?
At the racetrack? One of those new Supras.
Oh, the BMW?
Yeah, it looked good.
Yeah, I mean,
it looks better in person than it does in a picture.
It's smaller than the old Supra, though.
It is. It is. It's not a big car, but it's sporty. It's pretty neat.
I mean, it looks all right. I just don't like it because it's a BMW. Like,
yeah, but I like BMWs. So.
I like the BMW version of it better. I think that looks better.
It's good.
And if you're going to buy one of those, here's a tip. Take it to a BMW dealer to get it serviced when it has a problem. Because those Toyota techs, man, I bet they run when that thing comes in there. They don't want to work on that thing.
Yeah, they're all just scared for no reason. Or take it to a good guy.
No, there's a reason. I saw the car care nut. He was fixing one of those BMW Supras. He's just doing like a window regulator. And there's like a whole special, very expensive tool that, like, I guess it centers the window or the glass in there when you're hooking up the regulator. And he said that the dealership didn't have one of their own. There were several dealerships that were sharing one. So, and somebody else was using it. So this is the kind of nonsense that you have to deal with when you have a vehicle like that. There are other special tools. There are a lot of special tools for BMW, and the dealerships, they don't want to pay for it. So they're like, oh yeah, we'll all share it. But then it takes you longer to get your car worked on.
Yeah, that's a rare occurrence from my experience with BMWs, but
I don't know. It's a lot of special tools. BMW's a lot of special tools. But
you got
I mean, if you just take it, but if you took it to a BMW dealership, like they work on them every day, they got all the tools. Like they could just fix it, and it's no big deal.
Yeah, or wait a few years, cheaper tools will come out.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I would take it to a BMW. It's probably better food at the BMW dealership anyway.
Maybe
in the waiting room.
Hopefully, I would hope so.
My friend had a Mercedes, like it was like 12 years old, so it wasn't like he's rich, but he took it to the dealership. He said they had like catered food in there.
Oh, nice.
Like nice, delicious meals and stuff. Like in the Toyota dealership I go, they just got a popcorn machine and some vending machine.
Popcorn's and vending machine. Good luck.
I always get the popcorn though. I'm easy to please, so I'll get the popcorn. I always take free popcorn.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, take that thing to a BMW dealership, and you're just going to have to pay more because you own a BMW now. I mean, that's what you own. So
that's what it is. Yeah, that's what it is.
I saw the BMW version of it. I think it looks better than the Supra.
Yeah, I agree.
I'd get that. Just, like, why not? That's what it is.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, one more story.
One more? All right.
I don't know. Let's pick something happy. Anybody got any? What do y'all want to see in the comments? Jeep employee. Yeah, that's the one we talked about. Jeep employee reportedly becomes unalive in a
Toledo plant accident. What's Pininfarina doing here?
Pininfarina? What the heck?
What's he doing?
The latest custom Pininfarina Battista celebrates Italian town of Cambiano. Yeah. This is an all-electric hypercar. It had its interior inspired by last year's what? I don't know what this is. What the heck is this thing?
Italian supercar.
Electric hypercar.
Yeah.
Hand painted.
Yeah. Pininfarina, I believe, was a designer for Ferrari.
It looks good.
Yeah. It's a sharp looking car. That's for sure.
I don't know. It doesn't look like really a new design. It looks like something. It looks like another car.
Whoa!
I feel like a lot of cars have been made like that.
Look at that interior.
I don't look that great. This looks like a kitchen table.
Whatever. I like.
It looks like the kitchen table cover.
Nah,
or like an apron. Looks like your mom's apron or something. Like
not they used to have this kind of fabric in cars back in like the 70s and stuff. I always thought it was pretty cool looking.
It looks
but got nice bolstering, looks decent. It looks like it's carbon fiber tubs. So it's probably really lightweight and stiff.
All right, we got a question from the comments. Any exciting cars coming out for 2025?
Yeah, new Corvette DL1. That thing's a monster.
Yeah, the new Corvette.
Yep, absolute monster. That thing makes over 1,000 horsepower.
Yeah, if you got $200,000, you could buy one.
Well, hopefully that's all you need.
yeah, maybe it's probably more like 300,000.
Yeah, that thing's an absolute monster.
Yeah, that's supposed to be like one of the best cars, like on the planet. Like it's up there with Bugatti as far as speed.
Yeah, it just like beats everything. It's crazy.
Where is that thing? Search cars.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's twin turbo V8, 4.5 liter, revs to like 8,500 RPM. Yeah, it's got a big aero package, creates a lot of downforce. Yeah,
this is
an absolute monster. There you go.
Yeah. Here, 2025 ZR1, 1,064 horsepower. Hypercar with 215 miles an hour plus top speed. So we did a video on this a couple weeks ago, I think.
Yep.
And Dane was saying he knows somebody that had some information on it. He said that they just let the engineers go as far as they possibly could with this car, and
Yeah,
just
they turned it loose.
they turned them loose, and they came back with a monster car
Yep.
that will rival the Bugatti. It's the fastest thing on the road. 5.5 liter flat plane crank V8, which allows it to rev higher.
Yep. Yep, and a shorter stroke engine too. Yeah. So for those that aren't in the engineering world, a lot of times there's new ideas, new designs. Engineers kind of get some freedom to design it. Kind of, well, what do you think's awesome? You know, and they kind of start building and designing, and they go crazy. And then of course the business people come in and they say, "This is great. Let's make it affordable." And so they start cutting all the cool stuff away, and that's usually what ends up getting released as a production vehicle. It's never actually what the engineers designed to start with. It kind of got neutered into this tamed down version that is usually released. Well, on this one, they said, do whatever you want to do.
Just go crazy.
Yeah. When they get the freedom to make cool stuff, this is the first time we've really seen GM just throw everything, every piece of technology, every bit of innovation over the last however many years, and just make something that's an absolute freaking weapon on the road.
Raymond, you think it looks awful?
That's fine.
I don't know. I think it looks all right.
Not everybody like it.
I like the I like this one better than the current one. It looks like there's less angles on it. I feel like this is going to sound weird, but the last one they made, I feel like there's too many angles everywhere. Like this one, I feel like they cut down on it a little bit. I don't know. But oh, this one looks all right.
Yeah, well, a lot of that too is for cooling. So if you look like in front of the front tires, where that cutout is, that's a heat exchanger. In front of like where a radiator would normally be, there is no radiator there, but there is a heat exchanger. And so all that heat has to escape. That's why it comes up through the hood, and that also helps with downforce too a little bit. Same with back by the rear wheels. In front of the rear wheels, you can see a heat exchanger tucked in there, and so that's going to pull in air to help remove heat, and that's so you can make that kind of horsepower reliably.
Yeah, it's got a big spoiler on the back, so that this thing will stay planted onto the ground. I'm thinking of getting a spoiler like that for my Camry. What do you think, Dane?
Yeah, that's a good use of your money.
Put it on my 2004 Camry.
Yep.
That's right.
Right on. Cool. Anything else to touch on? I gotta get rolling here.
No, I guess that's about it. Thank you guys in the chat for joining us. Please consider subscribing. We're going to be doing some more lives in the future. We try to do about 3 news stories a week, and then I try to do used car reviews where I go really in depth to getting used cars. I've done what is the best year RAV4, what is the best year Ford Edge, Accord, Camry, and I got what is the best year Accord Cross Tour coming out. That's a rare vehicle, but if you could find one, you could get a really good vehicle for like under 12,000. So that's what we got on the channel. Thank you everyone in the chat. Hope to see you again. Thank you, Dane, for coming through. Dane's got things to do, and I have lots of things to do as well. I need to play Double Dragon 2 on my NES Classic. So we all have things to do. All right. Well, thanks for everyone for joining. See you later, Dane.
See you later, bud. Good seeing you. See you guys next time.
Peace.
Yep.